be a close one and a great start. On the inside is Nitrogen. Coming up through the middle is Miss Thriftway taking the lead. Thriftway across the line. Wahoo! Nitrogen, Furious, Everett, and Miss Bardall trails. Bardall got a bad start compared to the others, and she's going to eat a lot of water and wake. Now that all-important right turn. And on the inside, do we have Nitrogen and Miss Thriftway, and they're coming at you now with a turn camera. And it's, we'll just have to wait because Miss Thriftway is out there in the lead, and he's being pursued by Mira Slovak in Wahoo. And as they head out of there, Thriftway, with Bill Muncey in the saddle, has jockeyed his mount around there in good position. Bill got a great start, really zoomed down the chute in front of us, and now, as he comes out of the turn, he's in great shape. Miss Thriftway, which finished third, went dead at one point in its first heat, now is leading. And coming up on the inside is Wahoo. And looks like Nitrogen is in the race. And now you see them coming at you. And there is Bill Muncey jockeying Miss Thriftway toward the turn. Miss Bardall is far in the rear in fifth place right now. And let's see the gap, 3 seconds, Thriftway over Wahoo as they completed the first lap. Through the turn they go. You see on the outside, Muncey is in Thriftway, and Wahoo is on the inside this time, having come through his wake. Let's see if he can possibly make a challenge. It's still Miss Thriftway on the outside leading, and Wahoo coming in good shape and making a challenge. Mira Slovak does not want to finish second to Bill Muncey, and let's see if he can take him. This is a real boat race now on the backstretch. Look at him go in the chute. Now let's see if Muncey can possibly cut him off on the turn. They're close. But Wahoo came across the wake and is coming on the inside now. Let's see what's happening. Oh, and they're going to come close, and Wahoo cut in front of Muncey. Oh, he cut in front of him, and now he's on the outside, and Wahoo has taken the lead. And Thriftway has eaten water and may go dead. It is dying, and here comes Wahoo across the finish line, leading after lap 2. And I imagine Mr. Muncey has quite some thoughts to himself right now, but he's got her going again. Muncey is 11 seconds behind now, and there goes Miss Thriftway trying to pursue Mira Slovak. This is the gun lap, the green flag lap, the final lap, and Wahoo leads in this. Not going to be much of a margin this time. Less than 1,000 feet, Wahoo across the line. And Thriftway. And there they go into the final heat, only 3 seconds. So Bill Muncey and Thriftway has done a tremendous job, and he's pursuing Slovak closely. But Slovak has the right-of-way. He's got the inside going into that important turn. There's the right turn, and you see Muncey on the outside. In your screen, it appears as leading, but he may not be. Well, wait a minute. A boat has gone dead in the turn. Wahoo went dead in the turn. You're looking at it, and he's waving his hands. He's okay. Mira Slovak is okay, but he's out of the race. And Thriftway has taken command at this point, and there goes Thriftway. Well, how about that one? And there's Wahoo with Mira Slovak. Oh, and I imagine he is about as unhappy as you can find him. He is not injured, but he's plenty burned up, I can tell you that. Here's the lead boat. Bill Muncey is halfway through it. Actually, he may lap Miss Everett coming down the stretch here. Here's Muncey coming around. You just got to look at Miss Everett, who is almost a lap behind. So turning for home is Miss Thriftway. There's the green flag for Miss Everett being displayed, and the checkered flag comes out for Bill Muncey and Miss Thriftway. Here he comes, and there he goes. And that is it, wire to wire. Thriftway wins it. Thriftway wins the heat and the race.
Competitive conditions are superb, and this boat is running better than any boat I've ever driven.
You think this might be the best of the Thriftways?
Without a doubt, this is the best boat I've ever driven.
Bill, how
Handling
do you feel
like
after a long, dry spell?
Boy, it did ever. After last year, it's wonderful to come in first in this halfway.
Maybe this is your year, huh?
And the champion goes up onto the beach after a great ride. In the case of one heat at least, under difficult conditions, this fella, who's 30 years old and has logged more time running in unlimited hydroplanes than any driver on the course, showed again his terrific driving skill, and along with that, the skill of the crew of the Thriftway camp in getting this boat into tip-top condition. You heard Bill call it the best of the Thriftways, and this is number 3.
Well, thank you. This has been a great day in the state of Washington and certainly a great day on Lake Chelan. And I'm happy on behalf of all of us to present to the winner of the Apple Cup race, Bill Muncey, this perpetual trophy. Bill Muncey and Willard Rhodes, the owner of Miss Thriftway.
Somewhat of a load for the governor, but he's hefting it there, and there they share it with a victory smile. And Mrs. Muncey and Willard Rhodes.
For Mother's Day for about 4 years, you know.
Hello, everybody. These are film highlights from the 1960 Diamond Cup Unlimited Hydroplane race on Lake Coeur d'Alene. The third year this race has been held. This year, no eastern entries at all. It was strictly a western affair. On Saturday, the winds blew quite strongly and precipitated 2 postponements. On Sunday, the activity was fierce and heated, and at least one severe and continuing argument flared in the heat of a very warm Sunday. Seattle First National presents now film highlights of the 1960 Diamond Cup Unlimited Hydroplane race on Lake Coeur d'Alene.
That's why I enjoyed unlimited hydroplane racing. It was new to me. And there was a dynamic about the people involved in the sport. Most people didn't think about it, but if you look at it long enough, you realize every time that guy put on his hard hat and went out there on that water, he might not come back. They were crazy as hell. And they were willing to take chances, not for any reason other than that's the way God made them. They did it competing. They didn't do it to satisfy anybody but themselves and their group who were putting that boat in the water and expected them to give them the best effort they could give. And of course you had the dramatic rush sleigh, and you had that indefatigable little bugger Bill Stead and Norm Evans and those kind of people. They were one of a kind. They were a special breed. Jack Riggis, on and on it goes. But the biggest ego, and without question, the hardiest competitor, had to be Bill Muncey. Muncey walked in a room, he made damn sure you knew he was there. I mean, that was part of that. You can't be that kind of a warrior without having an ego. But then you also have to be able to do what you say, and then people will buy it. Well, nobody ever could fault Muncey for not trying.
You're looking at the lead boat, Miss Seattle 2. The second place boat is, it's Wahoo with Mira Slovak. You can barely see another boat through the spray, and I can't even develop it. See it now. It's Miss Spokane, the Lilac Lady, and running fourth is Breathless. And running far behind is Colroy. And now there's been one of the boats has had something happen to it. Which one is it? And the race is being stopped. The race is being stopped by the flares. It's Wahoo with Mira Slovak, who's in the drink. He has been thrown into the water, and the race is being stopped before the completion of the first lap. And now Spokane has come across on the inside and getting into better position. And one craft cuts a run in the infield. Here they come in the run for the wire. 5 seconds to go. And it is Miss Thriftway taking the lead on the outside over Colroy 1. Miss Thriftway has had the lead. And Colroy 1 running on the inside, trying to beat him to the first turn. And coming down over the line is Miss Thriftway leading. And there's a man in the water, Thriftway 2. The race is being stopped again. Oh my, the race has stopped again. Thriftway 2 has gone dead and Rush Schley is in the water. And the helicopter is going down to try to pick Schley out of the water. Well, this is misfortune day in the Seafair Trophy race. There's no doubt about it. The race has stopped. The flares, the smoke bombs have gone out once again, and there are more of them are shot into the air. And again, confusion reigns, and there's the Sheriff's Office skin diver plummeting into the water from the Coast Guard helicopter, and down goes the rescue basket. Well, that may do it for the day. It's getting dark, and there comes Schley up, and you can see him moving his arms as he's brought up into the helicopter. And for the third time today, that Coast Guard team of rescue experts has had to be called into play, and what a job they've done. And here they come at you. 7 boats, 7 rooster tails, and you'll watch that Miss Seattle 2 in the middle of the pack may start her turning radius first. There's Miss Seattle 2 starting the turn and cutting across the other boats. Dallas Sarts again has beaten everybody to the first turn. You'll remember in one heat yesterday, those of you who saw it, when he came out of the first turn on one occasion, he died. The second boat is Miss Thriftway, so at the moment, they're the 2 boats that are in it. Thriftway running on the inside and Sarts on the outside in Miss Seattle 2 as they turn and come up the back stretch. This is the first boat and the second boat, and it's a real race, and here comes Thriftway passing on the inside. Thriftway has a boat-length lead. Oh, what a race that is. That's first and second. It's neck and neck. On the outside, Miss Seattle 2 leading by a boat length, and Muncey has the inside in Thriftway. Look at him go. For second and third, we have Miss Spokane in third place. We're still on the first 2 boats, and they are running as even as you can see. And then on our left turn, camera picks up Seattle 2 as she goes through the turn, actually running on the outside. And Thriftway saving ground on the inside, coming off the turn. And now Thriftway is going to have the lead coming down this time because of the wider turn by Miss Seattle 2. Thriftway will have a lead of at least 2 or 3 seconds, and here comes Spokane charging up on the inside and may challenge for second place. Thriftway is across. Seattle 2 will be second, and Spokane a close third on the inside. Here's the boat coming through the turn as our left turn camera gets a good shot of her. The Persimmon and White, Miss Thriftway, owned by Willard Rhodes and driven by Bill Muncey. He's coming around the last buoy. There you see the last buoy. And he streaks for the home finish line, and this is for all the marbles if the race is an officially sanctioned race. And we'll wait on that one. But here's the Thriftway down toward the line. A couple of hundred feet to go. She's across. Now, the gun, the checkered flag. And if this race is official, Miss Thriftway is going to be the winner. Running the last lap, by the way, at 104 plus miles per hour.
In the days when he drove the Thriftway, they didn't have, they ran basically stock engines. The quill was a little bit heavier, but it wasn't the beefy quills that we ended up running in the boats. They weren't running heat-treated rod bolts, heat-treated studs, helicoiled mains, counterweighted cranks, shot-peened rods. They were stock motors. I mean, that they'd take out of the crate, turn the supercharger over, wash things out, and put a little heavier quill in and go race it. Well, Bill completed 55 consecutive heats running those kinds of engines, and everybody else would be lucky if they could finish 3 or 4 heats. And not only did he finish 55, he won most of them. And that really boils down to the fact that he had a wonderful feel and and he had a wonderful sensitivity for the equipment. He treated it really properly.
When the city decided to hold the World's Fair, the Century 21 World's Fair in 1962, Willard, in an effort to promote that, changed the name of the Miss Thriftway to Century 21 for the 1961 and 62 seasons.
Century 21, the Diamond Cup champion and last year's National Unlimited champion and Gold Cup defending champ. Starts out beautifully. This has been the most consistent boat in the country for a couple of years, and everybody over at Coeur d'Alene thought, well, we've never seen this boat running as well. The Miss Century 21, until last year, named Miss Thriftway, and of course took over the C21 symbol because of publicity for the World's Fair, and it has done very well by the fair, we might add. What with its success of last year and seemingly off to a great start this season. You might notice that the boat rides just beautifully. Walks a little on the sponsons, but it maintains a beautiful level attitude and stays right down on the water. Jack Ramsey, the crew chief of the Miss Century 21, has done a fantastic job, he and all his crew, and they seem to understand each other, this crew and Bill Muncey, and of course the prime owner, Willard Rhodes, also is in for the plaudits on this boat's performance of the last couple of years. You notice how closely Bill likes to hug the buoys. He comes around the pins as close or closer than any other driver. This will be the end of lap 1. Now. And good speed around 111, 112.
I'm Jim McKay, and this afternoon I'll be covering the human side of the story down here in the pit. This is one of two basic locations from which the sound portion of the program will be coming. I'll be talking to the drivers, to the mechanics, and to the people who make these tremendous machines do the things they do out on the surface of Lake Washington. And by the way, during the course of the afternoon, you'll also be hearing comments of the favorite in this race, Bill Muncey, in a conversation I had with him about racing, racers, and life. Standing by in another position, ready to do the actual call of the race, is our colleague, Bill Fleming, on the barge. Bill?
Thank you, Jim McKay, and hello once again, everybody. Welcome to the greatest spectacle in boat racing, the Gold Cup race of 1962 here on Lake Washington. This race will be run for 10 laps in each heat. There are a total of 5 heats, and each of the laps is 3 miles long. That means that one boat will have to run a total of 90 miles during the course of the afternoon.
This is Bill Muncey, the favorite in the race at the wheel of Miss Century 21. She used to be called Miss Thriftway, but now she's named after the World's Fair. Bill Muncey, I think you'll find one of the most articulate and interesting sportsmen we have yet met on ABC's Wide World of Sport.
It's a beauty, and the Madison takes the lead with Miss Seattle 2 on the outside, and getting a very slow start is the Fascination. Notre Dame having a little trouble, but streaking into that first turn will be the Gale 5 on the Bardo with Miss Seattle on the outside. A beautiful start it was, and you can see now. Uh-oh, troubles. Did you see that? A boat absolutely disintegrated down in the turn down there. You saw it go, and you can see the styrofoam all over the water. Miss Seattle 2 is the boat that at least got crosswise and spun, and it looked like she just simply disintegrated. You saw some floating debris in the water. And now the Coast Guard cutter is over there, and they are lifting the driver of the boat into the helicopter hovering right above.
Such crust on the inside. Tahoe misses next, then Century 21, then Gale and the U.S. from inside to outside. And Century 21, go hard.
We have had an excellent consistency performance. We've finished every Gold Cup we've started. We've won 3 out of 5, and we ran second and third in the other 2.
Okay, Bill, how about this, the mental and emotional aspect of this? You ever get scared out there?
Oh, no. No, I've never been scared. I don't think really any real professional campaigner in anything really gets scared. You do develop a tremendous respect for equipment. I know that this boat could seriously injure me or could seriously injure anybody else on the race course. I know it's capable of fantastic speed. I know that it's the finest machine that can be placed in the water because my crew is that type. They wouldn't put me in it unless it were a fine machine to run. But I'm never frightened, and I know that the boat is capable of running as long as there aren't any extenuating circumstances anywhere on the race course. I mean, we dye checked and magnaflux and x-rayed that rudder, yet it blew off. Well, how are you going to know? You can't do any more than we did, and we did lose it. I didn't lose confidence in my crew chief and come back and pound him on the head. It was, my golly, you'd think that I was his son. He felt awful about it. And, of course, my wife was concerned about it.
What does your wife think about this?
Well, I was racing when we met. We met in Florida, and I've been racing ever since. And I think that we both hope that we can get out of racing someday, but we enjoy it. I don't know, racing is fun. We like it very much.
It's kind of hard to pin down the answer to the question, why do you do it? Why do you race?
Yeah,
the biggest sport in the world?
I can't answer that question. I like racing. I like competition. I like to see if I can go out and beat somebody else at something. I'll tell you, I'm a lousy loser. I'm just a terrible loser. My boss always said, try and be a good sport, but go ahead and be a poor loser if you want. Because maybe I'll come back stronger the next time. And we're not going to win every race, ever.
We're coming pretty close to it,
but we'll run in the money every time, and we'll put on a good performance, which is the most important part of the whole thing, I think.
Muncey has taken the lead as Miss Madison came up a little bit too quickly. And at that last moment, Marion Cooper had to back off for a second before he got the go-ahead gun. Here comes that Rolls-powered Century 21, designed by Ted Jones in '59.
You ever see the crowd on the beach? You ever think about them?
Oh, no, never.
They're not there at all.
No, you don't see anybody, and I see very few of the buoys. The only ones I'm interested in are the entrance pins to each corner.
Yeah.
In the corner, of course, you see them well, but I don't use the buoys on the course so much as many of the other drivers do.
So let's follow our leader and, let's say, still champion around the course. This is the boat that won the Gold Cup Championship in '61. It won the national championship for the last 2 years. It has won the last 5 heats of unlimited competition it has been in. It has finished 45 consecutive heats of unlimited competition. This would be its 46th. A truly remarkable record for a remarkable combination of both crew and driver. He comes by. The checkered flag is out. And he salutes. The gun goes off, and Muncey salutes to the crowd and to the official barge, and there is the Gold Cup champion for 1962, just as he was for 1961. Bill Muncey in the Miss Century 21, and of course, it gives the people of the Pacific Northwest a great thrill to have Miss Century 21 come through with the Gold Cup Championship simply because this is the year of their World's Fair in Seattle, and it means a great deal to them. Well, it's been a long afternoon here in Seattle, Washington for the '62 Gold Cup. As a matter of fact, darkness is just about fallen, but here's the way it has happened. Bill Muncey is the man of the hour, 400, 400, 400. You can't do him any better than that. 1,200 total points for first place in the Gold Cup Championship for the second year in a row.
We do have a fine performing piece of machinery. There's no question about it. And the Jack Ramsey and our crew has it glued together just beautifully. I didn't miss a beat all day. Even when I took a couple of slugs of water, it continued running beautifully. And when you got a combination between crew and owner and driver that can communicate like we're able to communicate, we're going to be tough to beat. We're not going to win them all now, but we're going to win 1 or 2.
We're coming pretty close to it. One final question, Bill. At the end of this day, can you answer that question? Why do you race?
I don't know. The same reason. It's a marvelous feeling to win.
Hey, Kit, is it worth it all to you?
Oh, it certainly is. If it is to him, it is to me. And it's nice when you win.
Pretty long since day, was it?
Yes, it certainly was.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations, Bill. Good luck, man. Bill Muncey, the winner of the Gold Cup for the second year in a row.
I was too young to remember Bill as a commentator, or working in the pit area. He did some work for ABC Waterloo Sports at one point. I don't remember that part of him, but Bill was so much more than he let people know. And I think that's part of the sad part about Bill is I think he consciously didn't let people see the rest of his life or the rest of his personality. He was a great musician. He was so capable at anything. I mean, you could put him in front of a television camera and give him a microphone, he could do a good job. He could do so many things, but he kind of thought that detracted from his role or his image as Bill, the great hydroplane driver. And so that's the one that he kept out in front, and the other ones he kind of pushed to the back. But he was so capable, he could have done and did so many other things. I think what Bill did more than any other driver is he felt that he was responsible for the sport. And maybe he was, because he was the only name in the sport. He's the only nationally recognized name. And I think he assumed that responsibility. And whether he liked it or not, I'm not sure. I think he did like it. He was a showman, and he liked having the attention. But the positive side of that is the sport needed it badly. He was always trying to make the sport appear more competitive than it really was. And I used to get angry with him because he used to go, oh, you know, Chip is right there with the squire shop, you know. It's like, he used to look at him and go, no, I'm not. I can't come anywhere close to you. But what he was trying to do was to give the fans, you know, some hope that there was going to be this great competition. And when there wasn't, he could make it look like there was.
21, 1,000 feet from the finish of this heat.
The President's Cup, always run in, of course, Washington, D.C. The President of the United States never was there, but they would always call them back to come back in a couple of months after the race, and they'd have a press conference and pictures. One of the most interesting stories also is when Bill won the President's Cup when John Kennedy was president. And Jack Kennedy congratulated him, and they shook hands. And Jack Kennedy started walking back up the stairs, and Jackie Kennedy said something. She whispered something to him, and he said, "Oh yes." And then it looked like he was taking something off of his lapel, and he walked back down the stairs, and he gave him one of his PT boat tie clip, which he always cherished, and I still have.
The most impressive president that he met, that he always talked about, was John Kennedy. Because John Kennedy took one of his famous PT 109 tie clips off and gave it to Bill as Bill was leaving. When JFK was killed, Bill really studied that whole investigation. He was intrigued by that. Out of all the presidents, he was very impressed with meeting him. I think out of any of them. He used to talk about that story.
Bill Muncey always spoke very highly of Ron Musson. He told me verbatim that he thought Ron Musson was the best boat driver that ever lived, including himself. He believed that.
Here comes Bardol and Tahoe Miss. And the race is on, and Bill Muncey is not in the race. Bill Muncey and Miss Thriftway has gone dead. She got showered down right at the start, and there you see her. She's going dead in the water. A nightmare of all powerboat drivers to be drenched, and his engine quit cold on him. So Bardol and Tahoe Miss are in the lead right now. There goes Bardol down the backstretch, and Bill Muncey still has not got Miss Thriftway started. It's just like being washed down by a dozen fire hoses, and the intakes just swallowed all the water, and the engine quit cold. There's Bill Muncey still trying to get it started. Miss Thriftway has gone dead in this particular heat. It's the first one that Bardol and Thriftway had been head-to-head. Everybody figured it was going to be a tremendous race, and Bill Muncey didn't get the first 200 feet before she went dead. And
the last time the Thriftway ran in Detroit, I was there. I think I must have been 12. I don't really know what my age was, but I remember being in the trailer. And Dad, it was kind of an interesting week for me because I had an opportunity to meet Jim McKay, ABC. I mean, this is a big deal, and I'd seen him on TV. I mean, to me, that was really special, right? And I remember Dad was bringing the boat down to the start, full tilt boogie, and somehow he got washed down. And I remember Dad coming in, and to a certain extent, I have to assume that he was kind of reserving his reaction because not only because of the public, but here's his son, impressionable son there. And I will never forget this. We went back to the trailer, and we're in the trailer, and Dad is taking his jacket off, and Jack Ramsey's standing there. And Jack always had this pipe that he would hold like this. And I will never forget this. Dad started explaining to Jack what happened out there. And I remember Dad starting to cry, and he felt that he let the team down, and that somehow he should have been smarter and done a better job. And it was the last chance he had to get Jack Ramsey, I think it was a Gold Cup. And he really wanted, and here I'm seeing this, your father, who at that age is, you know, like a god. He's crying. I'd never seen my father cry before. And here Dad was just torn up that he let everybody down, that he wasn't pointing fingers at anybody for washing him down or cutting him off, although I've heard since then he probably had good reason to, but he took it all on himself. And it was a very honest moment. And I remember Jack Ramsey, Dad walked up to him and he's talking, and I think Jack Ramsey put his arm on Dad's shoulder and said, "Hey, Billy." Nobody called Dad Billy except maybe Jack Ramsey or Miroslav. He hated Billy. But he said, "Billy, it's okay. It's okay, you did your best."
There goes the Thriftway on the outside. He came out of the spray and now passes Tahoe Miss going up the backside, but Chuck Thompson in Tahoe is doing a grand job of hanging in there. And Notre Dame is in third place. A real good duel up the back chute as Bardol has come to a dead stop right in front of the barge on the home side. Oh, that Tahoe Miss is really rocking on the sponsons and jumping, and look at Thompson take Muncey on the inside. Thompson has come up on the inside to get that pole position, and now Muncey and Thriftway is lost in the spray on the outside as they go through that south or left turn. He's actually opened up 100 or 200 feet in the lead, but here comes Muncey as you see him coming to the outside, and he'll pour it on. This could be a real good two-boat race, but unfortunately Bardol, which should have given all these boats a run for their money, just didn't make it, barely crossed the starting line, and that's been it. Okay, look at them come, head and head down the chute. On the outside, closest to us is Muncey and Thriftway, and he goes to the lead now. And in the spree, in second place is Tahoe Miss, and Bill Muncey and Miss Thriftway is going to come close to the barge and salute everybody out here. This will be the overall race winner. Here it is, Miss Thriftway, the Diamond Cup champion.